Oh, good morning, grade 4. It's Wednesday, and welcome to math class. So this is our last lesson in our algebra unit. That's gone really quickly. So today's called Problems and Equations, Multiplication and Division. So this is what we're going to be thinking about today, multiplication and division. And so great that we've been practicing so much this year. Okay, so this is the situation. Rainey has 3 marbles. Sam has 4 times as many marbles as Rainey. So if we want to think back to what we were doing yesterday, we need to draw a diagram. So then I would have Rainey is one of my people, and Sam is another one of my people. Sam has 4 times as many, so that means Sam has 4. And Rainey has 1, because Sam has 4 times as many. So remember how we did that yesterday. So when the number that tells us how many times larger, so this number right there that's always by the word times as many or times as whatever it is going to be saying, or times larger, is larger than the other, is called the scale factor. So the scale factor is always that number that is before the word times as many, times as large, times as small. That is your scale factor, so we need to know that. So what you're going to do in these 3 questions here is identify the scale factor. What is that number that is times as many? So pause and figure that out. Okay, you're back. So there are 2 green apples and 3 times as many red apples as green. My scale factor is 3. I hope you got that. Glenn is 4 times as old as Nina. Nina is 2 years old. 4 times. So our scale factor is 4. Here we look at it, and the dog's weight is 2 times as much as the cat's weight. 2 times as much. So I hope you were able to get those. And I have one more here. Kathy's savings and Marcel's savings. And the scale factor is 4 because this is 4 and that's 1. So it's 4 times as many. Okay. So the scale factor can help us write 2 equations that show us how to find either the larger part or the smaller part. So these are the formulas that you're going to want to think about today. So the larger part, which is the big number, is going to be the smaller number times the scale factor. So I think we're always going to know what that scale factor is today. The smaller part is the larger part, the bigger number, divided by the scale factor. So if we know the big number, we know the scale factor, we're going to we need to figure out the smaller part. Okay, so we're going to look back at these questions here and see if we can figure out what the 2 problems would be. So there are 2 green apples and 3 times as many red apples as green apples. So if we were to make 2 equations, we could say that, so we know that it's 3 times, so that's the scale factor. So our large number equals our small part times our scale factor. And then, so our large number, there are 2 green apples and 3 times as many red apples. So the red apples, which we don't know, we'll call that X, is the small part, which is 2 times our scale factor, which is 3. We could also turn that into this problem. So we have our small part equals our large part divided by our scale factor. So a small part is 2. We don't know what our large part is, and we can divide it by our scale factor, which is 3. So those are the 2 different equations we could make. Glenn is 4 times as old as Nina. Nina is 2 years old. So the large part equals the small part times the scale factor. So Glenn is 4 times as old as Nina. Nina is 2 years old. So I don't know my large part. My small part is 2, and my scale factor is 4. And the other question we could make is small part equals large part divided by scale factor. So my small part is 2. I do not know what my large part is, and if I divide that by my scale factor. All right, I made 2 equations. So this one, the cat's weight and the dog's weight. So I have my large part equals my small part times my scale factor. So my large part is, my large part is, no, my scale factor is 2. My small part is 1. So I don't know what my large part is. My small part equals my large part times, divided by the scale factor. So I know my small part is 1 equals I don't know what divided by 2. And for the last one, Kathy's savings. So my large part equals my small part times my scale factor. And then my scale factor is 4. I know that my large part, I don't know what my large part is, and I know my small part is 1. So if I wanted to figure out my small part equals my large part times my scale factor is 4, and I don't know my large part, and I know 1. No, that doesn't work. Oh, because it's supposed to be divided by. Whoops. Whoopsie, I was like, that didn't work out. Okay, so we could figure those out. So what we need to do now for this equation, for this activity, is to write the 2 equations for the situation, one equation telling how to get the large part and the other telling how to get the small part. So the first one says we have W mice, 6 rats, 3 times as many mice as rats. So we know that this is my scale factor. The one that has the word times as many is always my scale factor. So I now have 3 times as many mice. So that means my mice is 3 times as many as these. So that's my large part, and this is my small part. So I need to do large part, which would be W equals, large part equals small part times factor, 6 times 3. And if I'm going to be figuring out my small part is 6 equals large part divided by scale factor. So my large part is, I don't know, divided by 3. So there's the 2 equations that I could make. Okay, 3 blue marbles, W green marbles, 5 times as many green marbles as blue marbles. So 5 times is my scale factor. I have 2 blue marbles. We don't know how many green marbles. There are 5 times as many green marbles. So this is my large part, and this is my small part. So I can do for my large part is W. I don't know what my large part is. And my small part times my green ones, my scale factor, and then if I wanted to figure out what the small part was, I could say my small part is 3 equals large part, which is W, times scale factor. So I've written my 2 equations for that one. And I got one more to do, and I'm going to see if you can figure out this one, how to write the 2 equations on your own. So I'm going to pause and see if you can figure out those 2 on your own. Okay, you come back. So we got 8 boys, W girls, twice as many boys. So this is my scale factor, twice as many. So it's 2 times as many boys. So boys is my large part, so that means girls is my small part. And my formula again, large part, which is 8, equals small part, which is W, times my scale factor, which is 2. Or I can go small part, which I don't know, equals large part divided by my scale factor. So I have my 2 equations. I hope you were able to figure that out as well. Awesome. So now I have on this question, it's always best when you can get the unknown by itself. So if you were to figure this out, would you use this equation or this equation? I would use this one because my W is by itself. Which one would you use here? This one or this one? I would use that one because my W is by itself. There are the W's on the same side as the 5. And if I was looking at this one, which one would you use? I would also use that one because my W is on the side by itself. So we are going to pause. We're going to stop the video and come back in a minute or for the next part. So come back for part 2.